everyone. It's Jim T. Graham, and you're watching the RC Groups podcast live. It's Thursday. It's a little bit before 2, but Matt Gunn has some things he needs to do later, so we're starting a little early. On this, we have a special guest. Let me double-click on his face to bring him around to everyone there. We have Mr. Steve Petrato of Horizon Hobby. If you watch the Horizon Facebook page or any of the videos you've seen, Steve, now I know that I knew one of your old nicknames that I won't bring up, but I saw on your shirt, your new nickname is the Steve. Where did that come from? That's the question.
Just kind of made it up, but it's a little bit of a dig, I think. So maybe that's where it came from. But other than that, it's just my name.
So, Steve, give us your description of what you do at Horizon Hobby.
Well, my title here is brand manager, and that's for the Blade brand. I also have a subtitle. It's not even a title, but I also run the sponsorship team for Team Horizon on the heli side of the world, and then also heli and quad. And I also run Team Spectrum FPV, which is our just FPV team-specific sponsor pilots. So I manage all the marketing for Blade and all the sponsorship pilots that have anything to do with FPV or helicopters or drones.
So you're the quad guy, FPV guy, and then everything else with blades.
Yeah, pretty much. And more recently, obviously, we got into airplane stuff, but that's generally, if it's a Blade product, it's racing specific for FPV if it's an airplane. So you won't see like an E-Flight style airplane in the Blade brand.
I'm going to jump over here to this photo of your team at
You don't handle like Bic, right?
What's that?
For shaving like Bic blades or
no,
razor blades?
Wesley Snipes, I don't deal with either.
So here's an awesome photo of you and the team in Hawaii, and that's one of the primary reasons you're with us today. Tell us about it. It looked awesome.
Yeah, so the Drone Worlds were in Hawaii, and let's see, it was a week. It was a grueling 8 days in Hawaii, but no, we've been preparing for it for a while. We went to Drone Nationals a few months ago and qualified for Worlds with the Theory airplane.
Right there.
That's it.
That you see in these pictures.
Well, let's talk about that a little bit. So the Theory W, tell us why it's awesome and why we all want one.
Well, it's awesome because it's really I don't know if it's the first time, but it's the first time we've put effort into a racing level product for wing racing. And I don't think many other companies have jumped into that quite yet. The sport is a growing sport. It's not, as booming as FPV quads, but the Theory is a kind of snap it together product.
The Theory is, sorry.
In theory, no. But yeah, so this product really allows a customer that's into quad racing to use all their gear. So the same type of motor. Well, this one doesn't have the same type of motor. This is a race wing, but the stock one has like quad motors on it. So like a 2204, 2350 motor on it. It uses stock quad props. It uses 1300 4S batteries. A lot of the same equipment that quad guys are used to. It uses. And the biggest comment I heard going to lots of different races throughout 2015, 2016 was, actually the best comment I heard was, I'm just not into the arts and crafts of wing racing. And as you guys know, as being airplane enthusiasts, no one wanted to build, wrap, laminate, all the stuff that we think is fun and hobby-like. These guys didn't want to do it. And so we developed an airplane that, like we could at Horizon, that just snaps together and servos plug in, wings snap on, and you can be out of the box and racing with your buddies in 20 minutes.
We were actually just talking about that this morning, about how much time was spent building a wing back in the day.
Yeah, it's a standard wing. I know the guys that went to Worlds, they spent 2 weeks per wing, and they brought 3 of them.
Wow.
And we spent 1 week watching a Netflix marathon, painting and modifying our theories. But that was, we each had 3, James and I. So we brought 6 airplanes, and out of the box, it's a good racer. To race at the Worlds, we knew we had to go faster, and we spent a ton of time researching the competition. We even went so far as mapping out the racetrack on Google Maps for both Nationals and Worlds, determining how fast we would need, what kind of lap times we would get. And we actually learned what the lap times the guys were getting at nationals, and we knew how to be faster than them. So we designed the power package that it has to be faster than them at Worlds, and that's kind of why we took the win, I think.
Well, tell us about the AS3X. How did you run that while you were competing? Did you run it, and if so, how?
Sorry, my internet must be really slow, but I think you said how is AS3X? Is that what you're asking?
Did you use the AS3X?
Sorry.
Did you use the AS3X on the units while you were racing?
So yeah, if you guys can hear me, I'm catching like one. Yeah. So we use AS3X at both nationals and worlds, and it was not crucial to our success, but we definitely made an impact in cornering ability, slalom ability, all of the stuff that required hard pulls left and right. AS3X really helped us out. It kept us in line. The guys that didn't run it were upset that they didn't run it. I know that for sure. But I think you'll start to see this more and more in the wing racing as guys running flight controller.
Well, I've heard a lot of talk online about using the flight controller, and it all boils down to 3D when people were using gyros and quote unquote getting caught, and then it was almost this public shaming. So the same sort of thing has happened, I think, with the gyros, with the racing. So it's crucial for quads, but it's not crucial for flying wings. And you guys took full advantage of being able to use it. And some people have cried foul. Some people say it doesn't make a difference. And as someone who flies the Manta with AS3X, I can say right off the bat, it does not, in my opinion, make or break a race. It is a helpful thing to solve the wind buffeting, but you still fly the heck out of the airplane just as the next guy without a stabilizer. So do you think that wing racing the rules might change to either allow or disallow flight stabilizers?
Yeah, we caught a lot of flack for it, but the rules didn't, disallow it. Many people thought, oh well, I'd like to see how that race goes without gyros, and we knew that was going to happen. Just like the whole Seth Arnold situation at XFC a few years ago, it's the same type of flack, although probably not as bad as that situation. But I think the rules will probably allow it, and after our showing, I think guys will start to try to adopt it. Not only is it just better experience to fly as a recreational pilot, but as a racer, you're not thinking about as much, but you're still getting knocked around. We were hitting 30-mile-an-hour crosswinds in the mountains there in Hawaii, and the gyro system you have, if your airplane weighs as light as our airplane did, you're going to get smacked around. The places that helped us, though, were there was an Immelman portion of the track, so you had to kind of pull through a gate and then go back around, and that, obviously, we were able to pull very hard, like just full back elevator. And the guys that were flying non-gyros had to either set their airplanes up correctly, which, like Jeremiah and those guys, they did very well, or not fly it as hard because you'll flick it out. But we have a mode on our custom theory, the race theories here, and we've got a no gyro mode. And James and I practiced in no gyro mode for quite a while before the race, just anticipating them saying, "Hey, you guys can't fly the gyros here."
Right.
And I think we were just as fast without them. You definitely are on the stick a little bit more, but the airplane is so good that the gyro is it's a nice to have. It's not a need to have.
Mm-hmm. Isn't it nice to fly? So you guys have, and correct me if I'm wrong, please, but you use it's a Z foam, right?
Yeah,
which is an EPO foam, type of EPO. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's correct.
And so it's nice to see these EPO planes up against the battle-hardened EPP planes, that are the standard for racing because of their durability and blah blah blah. And then you put your little EPP plane in there and basically hand some butts out to everybody. So I think that's awesome, man. I'm on board. I've always been a proponent of the EPP in the right blend, and apparently the Z foam is it. So EPO. I apologize.
There's a lot of EPO. A lot of guys were like, oh man, if the theory was, you know, a little bit more durable, that would be great. But you and you go to that foam, you lose a lot of the rigidity. You add a lot of weight because you now have to laminate it. You have to add more carbon spars to it. And yeah, you can slam it into a tree at 90 and just kind of reform it back together. But in a mass production situation, that's hard. That doesn't work very well. We're looking at some options where that might be, and in the future there could be a possibility. But I think right now the technology is really good with Z-foam. It's inexpensive to reproduce. It's inexpensive to repair. I think overall it's the right setup. You know, I do want to see us try an EPP wing and see if we can get it pretty sweet. I think that's definitely on the plan, at least looking into that. But yeah, this setup right now is really clean and easy and just overall good for most people.
So we have a live chat on the YouTube page, and we have a lot of people in there right now. So if you have any questions for Steve, be sure to post those there, and we will verbally ask him, and he can answer them for you. So tell us what you're working on that no one knows about yet, Steve.
Looking around my office to see if there's anything in here. Let me show you. No, we've got some ideas. Someone's calling. Oh, James is calling me. Hey, let me call you back. I'm on live chat. Anyway, let's see. What is Blade working on? Well, heck, you know, right now I've been putting a lot of effort with working with the Spectrum team to develop FPV radios and stuff that's more connected to this community. You know, my background being kind of everything helicopter and quad, and now running the Spectrum team, I get to provide a lot of feedback from our guys in the field to the Spectrum team here. So there's some really cool Spectrum technology products coming out this year, or next year, 2017 year, that will really cater to this community. Working with them on control link, robustness, that type of thing as well. So those are exciting changes. And also on the Blade side, we've got some cool products that will be, you know, we're really focusing on not necessarily the top end racer guy. That's not where Blade has ever been as a brand, but the guy that's just wants to get something good out of the box and go have fun with it. That's kind of our core skill set there. So there's some nice things coming out. We've got some great partnerships with the guys over at Race Flight now. And you know, we're definitely putting a lot more effort into wings than we ever have in the Blade group. So there's a lot of passion there from James and I, but there's also a lot of growth in that segment that we're just trying to shepherd through. So there's a lot of good stuff. You know me, I can't really talk about too much, but there's a lot of good stuff coming.
Speaking of FPV,
and one thing I want to mention is a lot of the comments I get from.
Go ahead, sorry.
Go ahead.
Oh no, you go ahead, and then I'll talk about the DX6.
Oh, okay. One thing I want to say is, you know, a lot of people think is that a lot of people say that the Blade. Not true. We've got some announcements potentially later this year, maybe early next year. Early.
Little technical difficulty on the feed.
Yeah, a little bit of lag also.
Must be on AOL.com. Well, what you got there, Jim? While we wait for him to come back in.
Well, I see his face. When he starts moving again, I'll stop talking. But we talked about this last week, but I did an article on the interesting things about the DX6E for FPV. And some of them are FPV related in that there is a lap timer function that I went over. Mm-hmm. And then there's a VTX channel control, so you can actually change video transmitter from your transmitter itself, which is pretty interesting. AS3X Live, you can change your gains and your settings right there from the transmitter.
Mm-hmm. That makes life easy. I used to hate having to have a computer just to adjust the gains on the AS3X. So, and
then for guys like you, Matt, that hold their transmitter like super low, you can now adjust.
No, it's not me, brother.
Yeah, you hold it like AJ Andrew Chesky.
No way, that's not me. I hold mine up like an old man, and people make fun of me.
I hold mine around my armpits so I can move this antenna down a little bit. But check this out. This is in the radio section of RC Groups. And we talk about all the coolness of this $150 transmitter, which is crazy. Steve, you're back.
Hey guys, I think it's better now. I went to a hard line instead of wireless, so it should be better. Can you hear me?
Yes. Yes,
Cool.
that'll be much better.
So when we disconnected, I was talking about, Blade and kind of the helicopter crowd. I'm not sure if you guys caught that part, but a lot of people said, "Hey, you guys are working on wings now. You're working on quads so much. Are you done with helis?" And that's, we've kind of moved to this Blade RC brand mindset where it's not just Blade helis anymore. But we're not done with the heli crowd. We're definitely still in that segment. So for those of you that are thinking that, that's definitely not the case.
So Matt has been flying the Manta, and we've also been looking at the Optura. Have you had your hands on either one of those?
Optimus
Manta,
Prime.
yeah, Optimus Prime. No, I haven't flown the Optera quite yet. They're trying to get me one from the early production batch, but they should be here pretty soon anyway. So the Manta for sure is a fun little airplane. I spent a lot more time with the Theory just because it's what we've been practicing with. But as far as like a longer range platform, I like the Manta. Optera, I'm really excited to kind of do the full, long range setup on it. Go to 1.3 video and do some longer flying because it's really designed for a lot more payload on board.
Oh yeah, that's a beast of a wingspan on that thing.
Yeah.
So Steve, what's next? Where's your next race? Is it over for the winter, or you guys going to?
Yeah, well, we thought so. Every time I sit down, there's always another event that pops up. But right now, I have possibility of going to a race out at CES that's kind of forming behind the scenes, and that'll be an HD live race, so that'll be cool. I won't mention the partners there, but you guys can probably guess. And then that'll be the weekend, the final weekend of CES week out in Vegas. And then I think prior to that, there's the big multi-GP race in Florida at the Sebring Expo, which will be cool, which I should be at.
And were you in the video that came out yesterday, the mannequin challenge? Were you standing in the group with David Payne there in the hallway?
He was probably the only one owling. Oh, right when the good question gets asked, he gets lost in the feed.
You know what we're not doing? We're not vocalizing his response like we might if it was a video. So that's good. Are you out? You're owling now, Matt. We should all owl. We should all.
I'm owling. I'm gonna get up on my seat and owl.
In fact,
I'm not gonna plank.
I think Steve is actually doing the mannequin challenge right now.
Oh yeah, he's doing it. Oh my god. Wait. You asked him if he was mannequinning, and
then he went silent.
Oh yeah, then it went silent. But his picture
black.
was there. That's good stuff. Good stuff.
So do we have any questions in the side chat here we need to talk about, Jason Cole?
I'm doing the mannequin challenge actually right now.
Hey, we did have an issue that somebody said today. We talk too much, so this really is solving that problem. Well,
yeah, man, that's a joke. Apparently, it's a big joke that we talk.
I tried to do videos where no one talks, and it didn't work because it was it looked like the audio was broken.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of which, Steve has dropped off. Let's see if he drops back on. If he doesn't,
let me show you this Cessna. Can I show you guys this gigantic fuselage?
Yes.
Dun, 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 dun. Look at this beauty. My God. I tell you what, I'm a sucker for a Cessna high wing in RC mode, and this is it. It's about as big as they get. This is the Flex Innovations Premier aircraft, which is a line of Flex. Cessna 170, it's fully aerobatic, and it has interior lights, so the whole thing glows like the freaking 4th of July. And it's got mounts on the bottom for fixed and floats.
And snow.
Snow as well. Yeah, I need to get those skis. I think I'm going to do that because I have that transmitter hand warmer thing that I wear. Right. So I might do that. So located underneath here, I'm not going to unscrew it right now, is the Aura 8 from Flex. It is exactly what we were just talking about, a 3-axis gyro. 3 different settings on it. You can turn it on, turn it off. Nice looking piece of equipment. And look at that inside of there. And look at all that fuselage.
Crazy.
This thing is
hide something
huge.
in there.
Yeah, if you were into that.
Will it hold a Coke can though?
It'll hold a Coke can like all the or an
that's
iPad.
What really matters.
Pop that back. Show him the back hatch.
It's not giant scale unless you can fit a Coke can inside.
Yeah, it's sealed up, and I don't have a screwdriver in front of me.
Gotcha.
But the reality is that this is fully 3D capable, and it is going to be awesome. Here's the wings. Check it out.
Oh, I love
Really,
it. It reminds
it's
me.
it's kind of standoff scale, right? It's not.
Yeah, man. These are the shorties.
That's actually the elevator, right?
Yeah, that's the
Oh, okay.
horizontal. So looking forward to flying that one, man. I can't wait to get it together, and it doesn't take much to assemble either. So good.
Full review on that on Flying Giants and RC Groups. Steve, I have a question for you. What is your favorite RC thing to fly at this very moment?
It's okay. You can say anything, any brand. Nobody's judging you.
No, gosh, it's really a toss-up. I've been having so much fun. I have a theory with a Connex setup in it right now, with the HD setup, and that is just a whole new level of FPV. And that airplane being able to fly through like parks and stuff and under trees is a lot of fun. So I'd say probably that. I've been flying that the most, more than anything right now.
I have a theory theoretically coming, and so I'm hoping that will turn into the backseat flyer because I crashed my last favorite airplane. So hopefully this will be my next favorite airplane.
There you go. Well, I'll make sure Kim gets that out to you if it hasn't gone already.
Yes. Yeah, we saw her in the office in that video. In fact, that's when you left us. We asked about being mannequins, and then your image froze, and we thought that you were mannequin.
Yeah, I was like, all right, dude, quit screwing around. I'm like, geez, talk to me, please.
Were you in the hallway with David Payne? Were you in that little group?
No, they actually came into my office. We were having like a 3-guy stand-up meeting, and they said that we moved, so we couldn't be using footage. So somebody moved. I was like, oh, come on. So
really,
yeah, somebody messed it up.
They just didn't want your mug on the thing.
That's probably what it was.
If you haven't watched it, go watch it. And the reason being is you'll get a really good idea of how vast and all the different spaces that are there at Horizon. It is like the warehouse is like, is it a city block or something?
Pretty much. It's 350,000 square feet. It's pretty darn big. It takes me 3 to 3.5 minutes to walk across the whole thing.
Do you have scooters? Can you go around on a bike on the 3-wheeled granny bikes, or do you have like Jason's little hoverboards?
Yeah, they've got like this thing they call I forget what it's called, a Wave, I think, and it's really designed for like carrying packages, but it's essentially a big Segway. But they won't let us ride it. So you have to walk.
You gotta get certified first, man.
Yeah, you gotta get your Part 107 for wave riding.
Well, you gotta be bona fide, I heard.
Yeah. Yeah, but it's a big space for sure. We brought some Spectrum team pilots in there and let them fly in it, and it was it's some pretty cool footage for sure.
Nice.
So here's another question I have. What got you into radio control?
I started back in, well, I don't know the year now, but I was 13. I started actually driving T-Max, Traxxas T-Max at a racetrack in Georgia called the Sugar Bowl, which is no longer there.
Oh yeah, I used to race there, man. Right when it closed up. It was in North Atlanta.
Yeah. I lived about 30 minutes from there, and just started racing there. Had some really good people help me as a kid. You know, my dad really was never into RC, so I didn't have that. As I'm sure I'll pass on to my kids someday. That I didn't have that from my dad, so I got into RC with the cars, and then I got a job with a Hobbytown USA there in Georgia, and then that was in high school.
That's how Jason Cole followed the chain of RC, living the dream.
Yeah.
We at Kennesaw, Hobbytown?
No, it's coming. So we'll,
okay, yeah.
So Steve, does this mean you're a Southerner? Because I've never thought of you that way.
No, you know, I don't have an accent, and everyone asks me that question. But I grew up. My dad was kind of corporate sales for Gillette, Oral-B, so we moved around quite a bit.
Wait, Gillette?
Yeah,
that's where the blade thing came from. Is that right?
Back to the blade, yeah.
It all comes full circle now.
Wow.
So yeah, we moved. I was born in Jersey, moved to Illinois for a couple of years, then moved to San Francisco, then moved to Georgia. So I don't really have an accent because I've been all over the country. And but it's funny, my entire family has the northern accent, but I never picked up any of it. So I have more the Midwest accent, I guess. The nothing.
I'm from Texas, and I talk so slow that girls would make fun of me on the school bus. So I actually worked on talking faster as I grew up.
Yeah, well, my original nickname, that's where Tater came from, because they found out that I was from Georgia, and then they said they couldn't say my last name, so they just called me Potato, and then Tater was the short Southern version of that.
I never got to the tater stage of your nickname.
Oh, really?
I didn't get the feeling you like to be called Potato, so I tried to stop that.
Well, I think I've killed it here at the office, but Kim still calls me Tater lovingly. But yeah, no, it's one of those nicknames that you're just like, how the hell does that happen?
Kim is as Southern as it gets. Now, do you know Jason and I's relationship to Kim in the South?
No, I don't think so.
So I worked at Hobby Lobby, then Jason started working at Hobby Lobby. I was the marketing guy, and David was our show pilot that would travel around to Seth, Joe Nall, and events like that, and Kim was always there. So we always went together to all these big events, and that's how we know each other.
Oh, okay. Oh, interesting.
She's like part of the family. She's, as far as the RC world goes, she's
pretty. We all went to Kim and David's wedding.
Yep.
Wow.
He crashed it.
You know, Matt, they had their wedding at the RC. Well, it was at a church, and then everyone went to the RC field.
Yeah.
That is hardcore hobby right there, man. I mean, like, you hear about people being into their, whatever their hobbies are, and incorporating into the wedding. Incorporating RC into a wedding is taking it to the next level.
Yeah, it was like definitely. I was there one day. I probably stayed till the next morning, but it was like a 2-day party.
We had like 12 guys on each side hovering 3D foamies for them to walk through.
No way, dude. If you did,
I don't believe it.
that would be on CNN. Nerds take it to the next level. They would call us nerds because that's what everyone does when they don't understand our awesome hobby.
That's
Well,
right.
and now with the word drone, that's all I have to say to people, and they're like, "Oh, okay."
Yeah, we're serious. We're droners.
Yeah. Remember when that was a no-no word a couple years ago?
I still feel weird about it. I when Jason and Matt use it as a common phrase, I always flinch.
Mm-hmm. I've just had to adopt it, but people didn't like it at first. That's for sure.
Yep, it's the term now. You got to use it.
It's over for real.
They traced it back like to ground zero to some. As funny as that is, they traced some guy. An English guy, reporter, calling model airplanes drones. It was not too long ago, and that's how it sort of kicked off.
Mean Joe Vermillion still doesn't like the term.
No, he's pretty mean too, so I wouldn't cross him.
So Steve, Mean Joe is a reviewer for RCGroups, and he among all the other reviewers put together some pretty awesome things.
All right. That still doesn't like the word drone, huh? Well, I don't think we'll ever change that probably.
We could start calling them taters.
There you go. That will never catch on.
That's how Joe got so mean, is people using the word drone. And he hated it so much. So that's where that came from.
Nice.
All right. So what do we need to know that you're not telling us? Is there anything on the horizon that
bumped?
Pun intended.
Haven't heard that one before. Let's see. I don't know. There's I don't have an update on the DX20 as much as I'd like to. Let's see, what else do I have for you guys? I don't know. There's a cool radio soon to announce. That will be, if you guys haven't heard about it at RCGroups, then you probably will soon. But the public will be soon aware of it. But I think it'll use the technology released in a surface radio into the air radios.
Oh, I know what you're talking about, because I saw the transmitter. Can I talk about the surface transmitter?
I mean, you can. It may or may not be that, but
okay. So I don't know. I almost did a story about this, guys. I saw it this morning. I think it's a surface transmitter that has a screen. So I was into off-road FPV on my trail trucks, and so you could put a camera on there and then look down at your transmitter, which I essentially did. I used a small screen on my transmitter, and so this exists now with one of your transmitters. What's it called, Steve?
So the one you're talking about, the one with like the screen that's like that. So that's the DX6R, and it's basically an Android tablet built into the radio. So it's a pretty cool setup.
And the beauty about doing that on a off-road vehicle is you're kind of looking that way anyways. There's no reason not to look down at your transmitter while you're driving.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a nice setup. It allows you to run apps, and it allows you to do lots of different things that you wouldn't normally think of on a car radio. But it's definitely a step in a really cool direction for RC radios.
And not Horizon related, but my glyphs that I run. I got my new iPhone 7 Plus 2 days ago, and so yes, it's very awesome. the wife walked in the living room. My daughter said, "Why do you have your headphones on wrong?" So I had these on, and I was experiencing my iPhone 7 through the glyphs, which was
She's
awesome.
like, Dad, you're embarrassing me.
That's a new level of nerd.
She said, "Wait,
Big time.
is that VR?" And I said, "You're catching on, girl. I'm pretty."
Put them on, Jim. Put them on. Wait, you can't have two headphones on at once. Look at this guy putting on double headphones. Holy hand grenades.
Double rainbow.
There you go.
Yep.
Looking good.
Maximum
Doing
warp,
that.
Jordy. Go. Make it so.
Well, you came in second in the wing division. Is that correct? That seems hard to believe that you guys. I mean, that's pretty high ranking.
Yeah, took second. James took first with the same airplane. I mean, they were identical planes, so.
I want to be there with you guys next time, man.
Jason is the wing FPV guy. He's a
Yes.
bad man.
Well, I know we're the wing sport. The guys that made it to nationals they were really a group of guys that put on their own races, and I'm not discounting them. They're all awesome pilots, but what the problem was is there wasn't enough wing races throughout the country and to support the nationals, and so we didn't have a huge contingent. I would love to see more guys next year race at a higher level, and I know we will. I know Horizons. I mean, I'm working with the team here to get more wing races that are qualification rounds for next year. So,
Awesome.
you know, they'll be probably more based in the Midwest, but I'd like to do one on each side of the country and get some more people out and involved, and maybe even have a spec class for the theory or do something like that. So
Yeah, I'm planning on doing it big time this coming year.
Like an IMAC class with everybody flies the theory.
Yeah, we did it here with a small group of guys. Most of them were employees, but there was a bunch of local guys that we gave a discount code to and let them buy a theory at a slightly reduced rate. And we had about, I think it was like 10 or 15 in the race, not together, but throughout the weekend. And it was great because everyone's match speed. It's all about skill at that point, and it was a blast. Definitely a lot of fun.
So if anybody else wants that discount code, it is Tater. Type in discount code Tater on horizonhobby.com.
So, Steve, I was talking to Mike McConville and Kim, and the thing I want to put together next is, and I started doing research, I want a mid to small size 3D foam plane that handles knife edge, inverted, everything well. I want AS3X on it, so if I'm upside down and get turned around, I can hit a button and right side myself, and then get it FPV'd up. And I want to do like low knife edges over the runway and low inverted passes.
Well, so you want what I have sitting next to me, probably.
Yeah, but I don't want to spend 3 weeks building it. I want to get it straight from Horizon, so there's no fear of crashing.
So this is just the fuselage. This is an EPP kit.
Oh, that's much bigger than I thought, man.
Jack at Leading Edge Gliders. It's a 42-inch wingspan. I
thought those were much smaller.
It's huge.
Yeah, no, it's a good size airplane, but it flies really, really, really nicely. It's going to look great, but it's one of those things that, you know, it's going to take me weeks and maybe a month or so to build it, just because I've got to order parts and motors and everything, and get the power system spec'd out and paint it and build it and do all that stuff and cover it with laminate. So that's the kind of thing that a lot of guys don't want to do, but I don't mind it so much. I think it's fun. But once you're done, it's a plane that's going to last. You know, it's going to handle a lot of abuse. And I got to fly this at the Stoneville Airlines event, Jack's personal plane, and it flies on rails. So when you're FPV in this thing, you can do whatever you want: point rolls, inverted, knife edge. You know, you can just horse around with it, not worry about it too much because it is EPP. You just have a ball. So this is not really a racer, although you could do a spec class.
It's a good dogfighter, man.
With this, but yeah, a good dogfighter. They have a few other warbirds, World War II kind of stuff that's available too. This is the P-51D model. But it's going to be something fun, just a general FPV cruiser, but it's pretty fast. It's going to be close to 100 miles an hour.
Oh boy! See, what I want to see is a while back there was some guys flying FPV with a couple of EDF jets, and what they were doing, I don't know if you saw this video, it was years ago, but they were doing these really slow loops together, huge arcs in the sky, wide open, but they were right on each other. The guy was right on his 6, and they were tandem FPV, and they would follow each other around. It was the coolest thing I have ever seen, because it was like, I would assume what they were doing, the guy on the rear was doing what they say you do when you fly formation, which is don't watch anything but the plane right there and stick to that plane. So he wasn't looking out. He was watching this guy go around. Really cool. So I bet that would be pretty interesting to watch some tandem flying with a couple of foam warbirds like that.
Steve, while we have you here,
Yeah.
I wrote 10 years ago, I wrote a script for a TV show, but the technology didn't exist. So I'm going to pitch it to you now. I want the onboard sensors that probably would work with our on-screen display of whatever flight board we're running, which doesn't exist and is in the future and make-believe. But I want to be able to install these on different planes and then do dogfights in the sky so that we could have virtual FPV dogfights with laser sensors. So when I hit whatever switch on my radio, I can virtually shoot laser beams at you and hear an audible or maybe a vibration when my plane gets hit by the IR or whatever it is. It's coming.
They should just blow your wings off and you literally go down. It separates on a servo and they both go poo.
And then a sound effect on the transmitter, so it's like I got.
Well, I'm totally taking that audio bite.
Yeah, that's the sound right there.
That's going to be on our bloopers.
We specialize in adding sounds to videos that don't have sound, and
we did a good job.
Makes my wife laugh.
Oh yeah. So here's what I think that you guys. My last piece of advice for you. Maybe you're already doing this, Steve. I don't know. But
when I called Steve, he said, "Make sure you give us lots of advice because that's what we're looking at."
Well, that's what we're good for.
I need it.
Meaningless advice. Where was I? You lost. Oh yeah. I want to see a theory shrunk down into about this size, sort of to compete with your Inductrix FPV.
Mm-hmm.
And then when the winter season comes for all of us Northerners that can't be outside, you and I, we can go inside of gymnasiums and fly the little tiny version of the theory through gates and stuff like that. Really lightweight, stabilized with a 25 milliwatt. What do you say, man?
We might be considering that already. So.
Hey-o! Okay, put me on the
You
list.
heard it here first, folks.
Put us on the list, dude, because I gotta have it. Have it. That would be so cool.
We talked about that after we came back from Hawaii because it is getting colder, and we talked about, man, it would be great to. We had the Sea Ray a while back, which was kind of a short-term project, but something a little in that size or smaller, I think is ideal. And 25 milliwatt. I mean, this camera system, as you guys know, is so super super light and tiny.
Yeah.
This can go on anything. I keep it on my desk for those reminders, but it definitely the wing stuff's cool, and I think the indoor stuff could be really cool. And nobody's doing it really, so
well, you guys can take it to the next level.
Yeah, so we're on it, man, for sure. But thanks.
Well, and I want to say it publicly because I've said it offline to guys like Mike McConville. You guys have really taken the winged aspect of FPV because, it was so quadcopter based and people are like, I don't like quads. I'm an airplane guy. Well, I'm an airplane guy and I like quads too, but you guys really run with the ball on the wings and anything you can think of. And who knows what's on the horizon? Because I was on the phone with McConville saying, you know what you should do? And then like a week later, the Optera comes out. So who knows?
Yeah. We took a really strong dive into the quad market a year or so ago, and we realized, our core market is, those guys, but it's really the airplane guy. It's the traditional hobbyist. That guy still exists as much as the industry doesn't say he does. And we talk about camera drones and commercial drones, and there's still the core hobbyist. I mean, you guys wouldn't have your jobs if the core hobbyist wasn't there. So, I mean, that guy is a huge part of our market, and we all need to respect that and develop products for them. So
amen.
We've taken a step back and said, you know what, let's get back into this and really make those guys happy again and really bring those sales back into the US and stop the direct from China stuff so much.
Yeah, nothing's worse than seeing a great hobby shop or a company start to go under because they put all their eggs in the drone basket, and then now they're struggling. And those that said, well, we got to diversify our portfolio again and offer lots of line of sight stuff, that traditional line of sight stuff, as well as just winged FPV and everything across the hobby spectrum, no pun intended. So.
Or meanwhile, smaller companies drop their winged based designers because they think that that's over. Meanwhile, we're right at 19,000 people on the site as we speak right now. So there's 19,000 people worldwide that are into everything, not just FPV or quads.
Yeah, that's the truth. So it's an important category for Horizon, for the industry, and I'm glad we're jumping back into it kind of both feet first.
So Sean Weiland on our feed wrote, the new 25 milliwatt VTXs make it all possible now. Finally have good enough range and light response on those cameras. It's true, man. You can get like 600 TVL out of those little cameras, and it's just the quality is superb, especially through a good pair of goggles.
I was going to say,
Steve, we got a question about the transmitter Bluetooth interface.
Okay.
They're asking if there's going to be a device that'll work with Gen 1 or 2 radios. They're saying right now it's only like the DXE.
I don't know if there will be. I don't know if the hardware can support it. That's a great. I honestly can't answer that question accurately just because I don't deal with the details on that too much with the Spectrum team, but I definitely could find out for them.
Gotcha.
I have a feeling that my answer is still correct, but I could be wrong.
here's something interesting about the Spectrum radios. I was on the line with John from the Spectrum team, and we were talking about the lap counter on the DX6E.
Mm-hmm.
And so right now it's manual. So when you go through a gate, you can hit a bind button or flip a switch, and it'll time your lap, and you can go lap 1, lap 2, lap 3. But what's coming down the line are sensors that you can put on the start gate and on the quad or the plane. And as you fly through the gate, it will automatically lap 1, lap 2, lap 3. It'll record all your lap times, and then you review it. So there's all kinds of crazy stuff coming down the line.
I mean, we do that now with specialized systems using IR and transponders and stuff. But to be able to do that and have access to the data on your radio is pretty stinking cool.
Yeah, I know the Spectrum engineers have been working on that stuff for a while, and a lot of it started out as kind of a pet project because they wanted it for their own quads, but it lends its hand to lightweight stuff like Inductrix because you really don't need a system on board. It lends its hand to wing racing and everything. So I think it'll really change the backyard basher guy, the guy that's not going to go to a multi-GP race but it wants to fly with his buddies behind his house. It's going to lend its hand to the multi-GP race as well, and anything indoor and small. So it's definitely an industry-changing technology that they've been working on, and obviously other brands as well, Team Black Sheep, Immersion, all those guys have really been hitting it hard with lap counting systems based on VTX or some level of IR that's a lot smaller than the current system. So it's pretty cool stuff.
Hey, I just want to thank Matt Gunn for joining us. He's got to jump out right now. Matt, you'll be back next week with more to talk about on that giant Cessna. I'm sure you'll
Go ahead. Yeah, I'm sorry. We'll have maidened it, flown it. Hopefully the review will be done by Thursday of next week. Also got this beautiful little guy here from Legacy Aviation, their mini duster that I've been building on. It is a super fast build. Look at those beautiful carbon rods inside.
And that's Extreme Flight 3D Hobby Shop, if you don't know.
Yeah, Legacy's, Extreme Flight's Legacy line. So I'm about to take my beautiful, loving, and understanding wife, who understands my love of the hobby, to the airport for her little staycation with her girlfriends. So I'm out of here, and I will see you guys soon.
Peace out.
Later, Matt.
Later, guys. Later, Steve. Good to see you, man.
Bye. Yeah, good to see you.
So, Steve, how far away is your office from Kim's office?
Like 15 steps, 20 steps maybe.
Could you drag her in your office? Do you think she'd do it? All right.
Oh, I'm sure. Let me go grab her.
Tell her. Yep.
Campaign.
All the days of Seth and hanging out. It's the same event, and it's much bigger now. But those really were for me some of the most fun times, I think.
Right.
Although now we have different people, we have different kinds of fun times.
We always have fun times. It's required.
We're smarter now. Back then, in the campaign days, I remember not having a golf cart. So, all right, and so I ran Seth and almost killed myself. The first. Hey everyone. Well, I'll let her hear me introduce her.
She's very hesitant to come over here. I don't have like a good way to. Here, you can probably hear her.
Hey everyone, it's Campaign. You might know Kim from the hit movie. I forget what the name of it is. Is it called Mannequin? Is that true?
No. It's the mannequin movement.
KP, we've been talking about all the cool new stuff and the drone race, and we also talked about the old Hobby Lobby days with you and David Payne.
Oh, yeah.
And so I just wanted to make sure, since we were 15 steps away from your office, that you made it onto the video.
Nice, thanks.
Everyone, this is Kim Payne. Kim is a big Horizon muckety muck. She's been there a long time making the magic happen.
Muckety muck.
That's on her business card, right?
Kim, is there anything you need to tell us? Any new product that you're going to break on the show today?
Yeah, maybe not today.
All right. Well, you look great, and we appreciate you coming over here and hanging out with us.
Thanks for having us on, guys.
Everybody, Kim Payne, Horizon Hobby.
Carry amongst yourselves.
See you, Kim.
Bye.
Well, Steve, did we cover everything?
Yeah, I think so.
She did say carry amongst yourselves. I just want everybody to know I do carry.
We're not allowed to in the office. You believe it? Frustrating.
Well, I think Jason and I have a few non-Horizon things to talk about, and I would feel weird talking about it in front of you. So I want to make sure that we have everything good with Horizon.
Yeah, no, it's good. Thanks for having me on, guys. And if there's any other questions, shoot me a line. But that was fun. Thanks for having me.
Well, congrats on your
wing. Soon at a wing race.
Yeah, I'm sure I'll see you. Are you going to be at the Stone Blue thing this year?
Yeah, probably so. Yeah.
Okay, I think I'll make it out to that one, so I'll probably see you there.
Awesome.
All right.
Cool.
All right, everyone. Steve Petrato with Horizon Hobby. Thank you, sir.
Thanks, guys. Have a good one. Bye.
Well, that was pretty cool. Once we got the connection rocking, everything went great.
Yeah. Internet.
Yeah. Well, you have to do it like 10 times before you know what works.
Yeah.
So, like, I have a certain ritual I do before I ever start the broadcast of apps and memory allocation, and I go through everything to make sure.
I just went to a hardwired Ethernet connection to my computer today because one day I'd get 90 megabits per second, and then the next day I'd get 1 to 5. So there was something going on with the wireless. So,
hey, everyone, I have something to show you. But I do the same thing, Jason. Sometimes I turn on wireless to print things, and if I start this podcast with wireless on, it's never good. So it's one of the. So this box came in the mail, and this is from Banggood. It's an eSheen product, and I've had a lot of good luck with eSheen. But we were just talking about micro. Let's see if I can look at this thing. Not big, right?
Yep.
200 milliwatts.
200. Ooh.
200 milliwatts. So I haven't flown it yet. I'm looking for a plane to get this on, and it might be the Micro Sky Hunter, which looks like we'll see if it gets here before I figure the weather's going to get bad on us.
Yeah.
But I actually pulled the page up on this thing so we could take a closer look at it. And it is.
Yeah, Sean said he has 2 of those and loves them.
Really? That's good to know. Okay, that's not it. 1 second. Well, as usual, I always pull things up in advance, and then when it's time to...
Hey, what's 600 line camera probably, right?
TX02. We're going to go look at all the specs here. Here we go. All right, I'm going to switch over. Oh, look at the lag in the show. Very nice. It's like radio when things go quiet.
Got lag. Oh, is that what you're talking about? Downtime.
All right, here we go.
There it is. $25.
I didn't even look at the price. I just saw
99 pennies.
Okay, so it's 5.8 40 channel, 200 milliwatt, 600 TVL.
That's like 600 kuna in Croatia.
Let's see if there's anything extra exciting here. It has this antenna, which you definitely probably want to protect in some way. Probably won't matter on an airplane.
He says the lighting dynamic range is pretty good on this. He was shocked. So that's good to know. So that means you'll be able to, you can take it indoors pretty, not worry about it too much.
And at $25, you can have multiple units.
200 milliwatt, dude, you range out with that thing on something.
120.
Like the Nano Sky Hunter?
Yeah, well, that's what it's going to go on.
Nice.
I think I've got a mini Sky Hunter coming in. What else? 40 channels, 3.3. That's my question. I wanted to look at that. The battery connector does not look like right there. You can see it.
That's a good voltage range because you can run it on a single LiPo or off of a 5-volt, power board source, as long as it supplies enough current.
Well,
It looks like it's probably going to be pretty high. What is it? 480 milliamps it draws. So you want to make sure that your 5-volt source is capable of delivering current. We ran into some problems before.
Holy cow! Look at that.
Like where you can't put it out.
LCD display on the back for your channel.
That's what the little tiny whip ones do. It tells you your channel and band.
Okay. Well, this is very exciting, I think. And
That's
then,
sweet, man. So you're doing a review on it?
Yeah. You and I are going to have to go fly this thing. I'm going to jump off that page and show you what I might put it on, although it seems maybe too light. Rolling back. So this is that Sky Cruiser, which is kind of a micro Wingo type of deal. And it comes with this canopy. If I can get a good light on it. I cannot. Anyway, it has a canopy that is for a camera. I'm going to pop this on here, and then this guy would live right here. It's actually to scale, I think, with a full size. So, Jason, what do you think? This is the battery this runs on. It's a 2-cell.
Mm-hmm.
I'm wondering if I can get a 1-cell in here and run separate.
Yeah, I would suggest running a single cell separate battery to power that.
And I have some little tiny 1-cells off of micro quads that I've run. So that's the plan. And I guess I'm either going to hot glue this or Velcro it on or get it on there somehow. And then we'll see how this thing actually, I mean, if it works, it'll be amazing.
Yeah, that'll be fun, man. I can't wait to try that out.
Very cool.
It'd be a nice calm day, you know, late evening or something. Of course, it's like a late evening now at like 2 o'clock in the afternoon here.
Right. Yeah. And it was 30 this morning. So
I hate that freaking time change, man.
When I opened the box, it was shockingly small.
Yeah.
So what do you have? Do you have anything over there to talk about?
Well, I talked about my P51. That's really the big thing. I did get back last weekend from the Pumpkin Chunk DLG contest.
Did you win?
It was a lot of fun. I didn't win. I came in 6th place out of, I think there was 28 guys in the expert class. But, you know, some of these guys, a lot of these guys were the best in the country. So I was competing against, you know, really, really, really good guys that have been doing this a whole lot longer than I have. So I feel pretty good about where I was. I think I was in the 96th percentile on points. So
you're like 6th in the country now.
No.
I thought you were talking into a weird new microphone before I realized that that's probably a hex driver.
I'm a fidgeter, and so I've got like a screwdriver, and I'm just like playing with it.
I did
burn my lip yesterday, if you can see that, on some pizza sauce. It was seriously hot. But back to RC stuff. What I'm doing this weekend is we've got a local multi-GP drone race going on. So I'm going to take the RCGroups flags and gates I have, and we're heading out. I guess I'm going to deliver them tomorrow at lunch so they can get the track set up, and that'll be there rolling Saturday morning. I'm going to go compete just for fun with the Conspiracy 220.
Where's it going to be?
It's in Smyrna, Smyrna High School.
They said they had like 28 pilots registered for that.
Yeah, it's going to be a pretty big deal for this region. I'm going to go. I don't expect to do well. I basically have decided that I'm not going to practice racing drones enough to be any good at it. I'm going to stick with the wings and DLGs as far as competitions go.
You don't want to be intimidating to people. You just want to show up and
Yeah, I'm just going to have fun. It's a good time. There's going to be actually a beginner course and a expert course, and lots. They've got it scheduled out, man, with multi-GP that it's all, it goes like clockwork. So it ought to be well run. And should be a lot of fun. It looks like we're going to have pretty good weather. Might be a little chilly first thing in the morning, but it'll warm up quickly. So I'll be able to talk about that, how that went next week. That'll be fun.
And I know that's hard to cover while you're competing, but you know what you might do that would be cool is maybe some DVR of racing the course. You could just hit a button and do it there.
Yeah, well, we can throw the GoPro. I'll have the GoPro running on the Conspiracy and be able to capture HD footage of the course. Of course, there's probably going to be a lot better videos coming out of the local groups. We've got some really good, decent pilots now here locally that are doing really well and going to just about a competition every week and racing and getting really good at it and winning. So we'll see what happens there.
One thing we're excited about is that YouTube finally has their live chat going. And I'm finding that right now. Back to that page. It has for mine, I froze it on a picture of Matt Gunn. So it looks like Matt is still in the chat with us, which he's not. So we have Mean Joe, Rebo Rotors, Andrew Hodgkinsons, I saw.
Yeah, Rebo was the British dude that was on. I had him on the show in Croatia.
Oh, okay, cool. And then I saw somebody it was something about his teeth. Sean Winland. He's not in reference to the teeth guy.
Some squishy guy.
Hornets. I know this username. What does that mean? Hornets. Hornet NZ. Gotcha. Okay. I'm pretty quick. I'm a fast one. So anyway, thank all of everyone on the live chat for chatting. And one thing I was going to show, I don't know if I've shown this before. So these are the glyphs, which I have shown, and I did a review on, and I like them a lot. And so this is my connector to go from HD to an iPhone.
Yep.
And so here's my new iPhone. And
you got the 6? You got the 7 finally?
7 Plus.
Nice.
And then I made this case for it this weekend. Look at that, Jason. It's awesome.
Wow. That looks professional.
So here's the deal. I plug my glyphs into this guy, and I've got to say, I'm going to be honest here. People that are things that port FPV out to a phone, I'm like, give me some 5.8 at the very least, But yeah. I now find that if I am running a unit that's porting out to a phone, I can actually run the glyphs off the phone, and it's almost the same as long as you can keep that connection going.
Ah, that's cool. You can't do that with the Mavic though. It doesn't work.
Well, I had the Airbow. It was called the Airbot, and they changed it to a new name, but that worked with
doing a Wi-Fi connection.
Yeah.
The problem you run into with that is the lag. So you don't want to get too proximity, flying through the goggles, which you want to do when you're wearing goggles because it's so much fun. But
well, it's Thursday. It's November. The weather hasn't given up on us yet. I guess we have probably until the 26th to go to the field and do stuff.
Yeah, I got to get this plane built. I'm supposed to have a Starburst, another version of it coming too, a 48-inch sport plane from him as well.
Do you have anything to fly that we need to go to the field on and like say Tuesday or something?
Not till I get this plane built, and that's definitely not going to be done by Tuesday. So
this camera's so little, I could probably stick it on any quad I have and backyard fly it a little bit. But I also want to range check it out at the field and see how far out it will actually get.
Yeah, well, I can come help with that. It's no big deal.
Yeah, I might get you to bring an airframe out that we can just Velcro it onto and shoot some DVR of it and see what we get off of it.
Definitely.
My poor Surfer 1500 is not dead, but it is almost. I'm going to have to gut the whole airplane to fix it, and I just haven't been able to bring myself to do it.
Just throw it away.
I can't do that either. I know it's awesome. Everything on it's fine except the nose. I've thought about splicing a nose onto the front of it.
Just take a hacksaw to the nose, chop it off, and glue a new one back on. That'll work.
Cool. Maybe like a big beak or something on there or something. I don't know.
Huh. That's interesting.
Well, hey, before we get out of here, let's talk about some news and things you need to be aware of. We are having a contest. I'll tell you what I'll do here. I'll jump over to RCGroups, share the page, and then we'll go take a little tour. And I'm going to share things that you may not know about, but you probably will want to know about after I show it to you, because this contest is rocking and rolling.
I mentioned.
There you go. All right, so if you're on,
I can't see it now. I got the Ultra Micro ready.
Hold on. Okay, show us that.
Hello.
Yes.
Hello. Can you
You're
see?
live. You're on.
No, I think you're broadcasting because it's not showing the screen.
Okay, stop presenting. Okay, how about now?
There we go. So here's the Ultra Micro Radian they were talking about. I've got an actual 1.3 system on this one, so I don't have to worry about getting shot down by 5.8. And then you can totally take this thing as far away as you want, as far away as your radio will have range, and get great video off of it. So it's a lot of fun to fly. I do need the clear props, though. The clear props are a lot better. These are the black ones. Yeah. They go right through the view and create that arc, but the clear props are a lot better for that. But Jason, I just saw them talking about that in the chat.
Jason almost won the LMR at Seth with that little tiny bird.
Yeah, I did. The thing flies awesome.
Okay, so we're looking at RCGroups.com, the world's largest, most active RC website. And up here at the top are the circles. These are the keys to the kingdom and as to what you're into. So let's go to FPV. And right here, enter to win, clicking on the feature article. Enter to win the Hornet 250 tricopter FPV. So Manny over at Gropner said, well, I said, Manny, why don't you have a contest? And he said, well, what should we do? And so we settled on this unit, which retails at, I wonder where I put it. Generally, right there, $459. And it is a tricopter. So I have some images and video down here you can check out of this thing. And the only thing you have to do to enter is tell us what you would name your Hornet. So I came up with Henry the Hornet or the Triad. And so people are now in this thread: Trippy, the Stinger, Lee Mean Green Machine, Mean Joe Vermillion, just anything you can think of. And so this contest is going to run right to the end of November. So you definitely want to be a part of that. Thanks to Manny for giving this to RC Groups to give away. And I'm going to go to All RC. This is where everything lives. So right here is the RC Groups unboxing of that giant Cessna we were just looking at. And so we did a live video of that unboxing. Matt was on, I don't know if you know this, Jason. Matt was on a live chat with me, and I said, when is the Cessna coming? And then you could hear. And he said, oh, my, it's at the door. And I set up a live feed, and I said, all right, man, let's do a live.
Yeah, it's all part of that video. It was pretty cool.
Yeah. So I had him take pictures just to make sure everything was nice and clear, because in case the video got a little rough. And so you can go check that out. That's from Kike Somanzini. Then this just went live. It must have the Phoenix Strega 30cc. Look at that thing. Always sexy.
Yeah, that's wicked. I think it's nice.
So that's a Nikolai Zinsley. I'm saying that. Yep. That's a Nikolai review right there. That just went hot. And the new Gropner. This must have just gone out this morning too. The new Gropner Duo Plus 80. Gropner makes killer chargers. You ever had a Gropner charger, Jason?
I don't think I have, actually.
Well, I'm kind of drooling over some of their stuff. And
it's a lot of watts.
You just posted this. Why should I like this? It's got a fan. It's HD.
Well, these are the new HD3s, and it's got the, I like a large field of view. So this is the largest one you get in a Fatshark style goggle at 42 degrees. And it's just very portable. These are, you know, the most popular brand on the market especially for racers and guys that just want to have small, compact set of video goggles. These are about as good as it gets. And then it looks like
it's got this unit right here I'm circling with my mouse where you can add on that secondary dual diversity receiver.
Yeah, well, you could pop in a 5.8, a 1.3, a 2.4, or some of the diversity modules. It's pretty cool how modular it is. You can add the Trinity head tracker unit. You know, a lot of cool stuff you can do there.
I'm pretty much a Headplay guy, but I did try these on with Frank Knoll, and they were his unit. Maybe not this exact unit, but it was. I was like, yeah, I could live with this for sure. And then we had the Karma recall. We haven't even talked about that.
Yeah, that's kind of a bummer for GoPro, don't you think?
Yeah, how serious is it? Every unit that went out's getting recalled?
Every unit that they sent out has gotten recalled, and basically they're doing refunds, so it's not like they've got a repair made and ready. It's they may or may not come back out with it. We don't really know.
I don't think I've ever heard of anything like that.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, well, if you have a Karma, send it back. And then we have your story here, F3K skills to learn.
Yeah, so that was just based on some of the my experiences in the competitions and just trying to maximize the score. Like, I'm competing at a very high level, and just what does it take to get to the top, because the point spread at the top is very minimal. So you've really got to be on your game and be perfect. So maximizing your scores, getting a quick turnaround time in the quick turn tasks. And what I mean by that is we have a timed 10-minute window to fly different tasks. And sometimes the tasks are fly 5 2-minute flights. And you have to basically catch or land and then take off again. And every time you do that, you're losing time. So you can't get 10 minutes worth of flying time on the clock, right? You can get, 9 minutes and 50 seconds, 9 minutes, 56 seconds, depending on how good you are. So the more time you put on the board for the competition, the better your score is. And it's all normalized based on whoever does the best in your round. But the top guys are all maximizing, and they're dropping maybe 3 to 6 seconds at that very high end level, and then I dropped like 12. So I've got some room to improve because I'm not doing quick turns. I'm basically landing, grabbing it real quick, and throwing it again. So I'm dropping 2 or 3 seconds minimum every time I have to relaunch. So it's just a cool thing. I love that about RC Groups, that we can get on there, talk to other guys with experience, learn from each other, get tips. That's what I mean. I've been using RC Groups for that since my entire hobby career.
That's what it's for.
Over 16 years. So that's what's great about this community, is we're all willing to help out.
Awesome. And now we're going to jump back to the next one here. Here's my 10 cool things about the DX6E. Once again, $150 radio, and it does so much. Pretty awesome. And some heli news, some car news. All these things live on this this main page right here. So anyway, RC Groups, I don't know if there's anything new to talk about on the site in general, but I think I've hit the end of the road. Jason, do you have anything left you need to talk about?
Yeah, I think we're good, man. It's been a good time. We appreciate all the guys hanging out on the chat, and asking questions and just hanging out with us. It's a lot of fun.
We have a mass email going out tomorrow to everyone. We're going to talk about that contest and a few other things, and just a way to highlight what we do. And then we start a whole new week, and we live the dream again. JC, what are you doing this weekend? Any big plans? You going to Chewy's and get a haircut?
Yeah, if you would have been paying attention, you'd known I'm going to a drone race.
Oh, that's right. That's right. That's right. Man, and you were gone last weekend. How does that work with the wife? You're like, hey, I'll be at a drone race.
Well, we're going on vacation at the end of the month in a couple of weeks, 2-3 weeks. So she's cool.
You're racking it up. All
we're
right.
going to go down to Disney World.
Well, everybody been watching the RC Groups live broadcast. It's Thursday, 2 Central Standard Time. We did go a little early today, but it takes a minute for everyone to get on anyway. So essentially we went on it too. We want to thank everyone who were watched and hung out and chatted and asked questions live with us today. And then, of course, this will automatically go up on our YouTube channel for the future. So if you're watching this in the future, thank you too. I'm Jim T. Graham. Hey, let's thank Steve Petrato with Horizon. I was on the phone with Kim this morning, and she said, don't forget Steve's going on. And so Steve and I got it all worked out so he could get on the thing, and we appreciate him taking time out, and Horizon taking time out, and for being a great advertiser on the site, not to mention sending us these review products for you to check out. Lot of support there. We appreciate it. I'm Jim T. Graham with RC Groups, Jason Cole with RC Groups, Matt Gunn's at the airport, and we're signing out. Hot trigger? Do I get a hot trigger?
Hot trigger!
Hot trigger! Oh, that's for you, me, Joe. Bye.